the big question. Would you buy to live, buy to let, or does Leeds need more investment before you even think about it? Right, let's have a butchers and see what I want. This is an auction property. Always check the legal pack as well as auction fees. You may have additional costs and other property problems. Today, we are viewing a freehold through terrace, 5 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, mid-terrace house. The on-street parking is free and there is a small courtyard at the back of the property. From Leeds city centre, it is roughly 15 minutes by car and 30 minutes by bus. Storage will be whatever you make of it. The filming will be dark in some places. There is no EPC certificate for this house. This property is being sold by a local authority. Can central and local governments please sell all their empty properties so it can be refurbished and people can be rehoused? Please, I beg. The buyer is to pay £375 to the seller for the provision of searches. The buyer is also to pay the sum of £110 for the provisions of the transfer. Listen to this very carefully. The buyer is to pay the seller's legal and surveyor's fees amounting to 4% of the purchase price. Let me say that one more time. The buyer is to pay the seller's legal and surveyor's fees amounting to 4% of the purchase price. So currently, as it stands, the buyer is responsible for fees equaling £3,000. Adding in the searches and the transfer, that's £3,485. All of you investors that like to go to auctions and like to put your hands in the air and wave it like you just don't care, the original property that you went to the auction for has gone and you don't want to leave empty-handed. So you start bidding on properties you didn't come for, so you haven't checked the legal pack. I don't know how you do it. This is how numbers can go very wrong very quickly. It's easy to look at a property like this, 75 grand for a 5-bed, yeah, I'll have a bit of that, not knowing you have a 3.5 grand buyer's cost. And remember, on top of that, you still have your solicitor's fees to pay for, the auction fees, the stamp duty, the cost of finances, unless you're going all cash in. The purchase costs is already in excess of £10,000. 75 grand for a 5-bed. This viewing was like a Notting Hill carnival. It was rammed, wall-to-wall people. Because we could not go into the rooms on the top floor with the 2 additional bedrooms, they were blocked off. People was in the hallway, people were waiting outside to come in and view. I cannot even remember the last time I went to an auction this crowded. It might not seem like it because I did hang around until the end, until the bulk majority of people actually went, but it was absolutely cock. No access to the additional 2 rooms upstairs. I'm in love again. This house has such a really beautiful vibe. The last time I fell in love was with the ex-council in North Seacroft. I saw some comments and people couldn't understand why I was in love, but sometimes you need to visualize the end product. Can you imagine this as a family home? It is absolutely beautiful. This house is stunning. There is just something about having 2 reception rooms side by side that feels very middle class. You know, the front reception room is reserved for guests, where you have your best china plates on display, or maybe that's just me. The only drawback is if you have children, there is no child-friendly space outside, but there is a small park at the top of the road. The kitchen is very small, so maybe you would move that to the back reception room. Good sized kitchen diner. 2 of the bedrooms, you can have an ensuite. This house could be done up to a luxurious family home. Come on, this is definitely, in my opinion, a destination house. Okay, let's put our feelings on the table because ain't nothing going on but the rent. This road already has a HMO plus a 6-unit conversion. The property is in an Article 4 area and also in a conservation area. Conservation areas are protected areas of special architectural or historic interest. These areas are designed by the council and protected by the character and the appearance of a whole area, not just its buildings. There are 81 conservation areas in Leeds, and this property is in a conservation area to keep its historic features. The property is roughly 158 square meters. Please be warned. Be warned. I warned you. Leeds City Council are considering selective licensing for parts of Armley, and Laurel Terrace is in the proposed catchment area. Keep an eye out as the consultation ran from the 23rd of September to the 13th of December 2024. So the period has ended. There is no more chattings involved, just decisions to be made. Next door has a change of use from 5-bed dwelling house C3 to 6-bed HMO C4. This was approved in April 2022 and the application was made by a local letting agent. Also on this road, there is a property that has change of use and alterations of house in multiple occupation to 6 1-bed flats with like studios in it. This was approved in July 2010. The application was made by a local construction company, although this property is bigger at 264 square meters. So whether the buyer turns the property into a family home, a HMO, or try to get a few studio units, it's a nice little project at the right cost. If you're going to develop the property into a family home, roughly what is the end value? If you're going to develop the property for short-term lets, 10 guests with 3 bathrooms, what is the nightly rate? What kind of figures are we looking at? If you are going to develop the property into a 6-bed HMO, how much do rooms rent for in the local area? If you're going to develop the property into studio units, what are studios or 1-beds in the local area on the market for? For the end users, let's do the Jim Jam test. Is a local shop close enough to pop in our Jim Jams on a Sunday morning? In terms of sales, what are studios or one beds on the market for? The bus stop is roughly a 3-minute walk. A pub within walking distance. Use it or lose it. And we have our shop. If we keep walking, Town Street has more variety of shops. There is no sales history for the property. Hold on. Just before we finish,
Oh my God!
4% of £178,000 is £7,120, plus the searches and transfer, that's £7,605, plus the buyer's solicitors fees of, let's say, roughly £1,500, including VAT. That's £9,105 in solicitors fees alone.